So good afternoon. My name's Heather Bailey. I'm with Red River North Tourism, and we are here this afternoon doing a showcase with Chris Coubet, who is with the Selkirk and District Horticultural Society, otherwise known as the Selkirk Garden Club. Hi, Chris. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Thank you very much. Thank you for agreeing to do this. I thought that it would be a great idea for our audience to get a chance to hear about the Selkirk Garden Club.
Well, thank you. It's a great opportunity for me to talk about the club because I think we have a wonderful garden club.
Good. Good. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your garden club? So where it is, where you meet.
Well, first of all, let me start at the beginning. It's our garden club was started by a group of ladies who were interested in gardening 27 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And some of those ladies are still actively involved in our garden club. It's just wonderful to have members that know all the history of the garden club. So what before COVID, we were meeting at the United Church on McLean, and we were meeting on the third Tuesday at 7 o'clock. But since COVID, we have been meeting this year in 2021 with Zoom meetings, and we have them on the third Thursday. So this evening we would have a Zoom meeting at 7 o'clock. Last year we kept on hoping that well next month we'll have a meeting, but as you know, that was just wishful thinking. So we get together, we have a business meeting, and we have a break when we are together in person, a coffee break, and then we have a guest speaker who speaks to us about all different things about gardening. We have had people to do photography, how to take a good picture, about bees and birds, trimming trees, vegetables, flowers, soil, you name it. Anything to do with gardens, we try to get a guest speaker. So that's been very interesting and very informative.
So does I know that in looking at some of the garden clubs, different garden clubs have different themes. So there may be you may be known for one certain thing, or you may just be a general garden club. I'm not really even all that sure. But what is your specific thing that sets your garden club apart from other ones?
I think that what sets us apart is our amazing, you've never seen an event like this, plant sale. So we have such wonderful members that bring some of them hundreds of plants. So we have that on the last Friday in May when we could do this at Memorial Hall. And we'd open the doors at 6 o'clock. People start lining up at 5, and we have thousands of plants that are sold at unbelievably reasonable prices to the public. And it's just, if you've ever been in a, I can't believe this event, then this is the one that you need to come to, even if you don't want to buy a plant. It's just all these people rushing in, getting their plants, finding the one that they really wanted, and yes, it's there, and it's amazing. So I think that is something that we're known for. But our actual, what we do as a garden club for our interest is anything to do with gardening. We offer everybody that comes, if you're interested in growing vegetables, well, there's something for you. Or if you're interested in design of flower beds, there's something in it for you. So we try to be open to everything that we can think of that's involved with gardening.
So I guess that's sort of the next question. So, and you kind of answered it in fact, that it doesn't matter whether you're a brand new person to gardening or whether you've been gardening for a long time. It there's no distinction. Everyone There'll be something for everyone at your club.
Totally. And I was not a gardener. So I didn't come from gardeners. A lot of our members have grandma was a gardener, mom was a gardener. They've got generations of gardener. But I didn't have that. So when I got there, I didn't know anything. And I wanted to learn, but I had no background. And it was so amazing and so wonderful how all these people would come, you'd ask them a question, they might have you come and work in a garden which is like a workshop. Like we do look after some of the gardens in the city of Selkirk, but when you go there to work in that garden, you are really going to a workshop. So they come over and tell you how to prune a rose, and that was my experiences. I was at Red Feather Farm, and one of our founding members, June Minish, suggested I prune this rose. And I thought, oh my goodness, don't tell me I'm going to kill June's rose. Like, this will not work for me. This rose has been here for 20 years. I was petrified. And she was so encouraging, and oh no, I wasn't going to, and do it like this. And it was truly a wonderful experience. And I really got a wonderful lesson on how to prune roses. So I have them growing in my garden. I love roses. So this was great. And all the people that come, there's so many knowledgeable gardeners helping, let's call them newbie gardeners. And they're there working together. That's the one thing I think that's so amazing about gardeners. We pride ourselves in caring and nurturing. So we're doing that with plants, but we extend it to humans also.
Excellent. How many members do you have?
Well, this year we have 86 members.
Wow.
So because of COVID and because of registration, we have had like in the 90s, but for people to get out and register has been difficult. But our registration membership director has done an amazing job. And what it costs is $20 to join. You get to go to 9 meetings. Two of them we have potlucks, and the other seven we have guest speakers. But with that $20, you have the guest speaker, you have a coffee break with goodies, and we give you, I'm going to show you this book called The Prairie Gardener.
Oh, wow.
Go out and buy this book. It would cost you $18. And it's such a nice book. So you get that in January or February, depending on when you pay for your registration. And this past year, it was my favorite subject, roses. It was all about roses. So in the winter, you're reading all these really interesting articles. But because the book is about Manitoba, it's not that you're reading something from a climate that it doesn't work for us. So it really is a fabulous book to have. So it's very reasonable to join our club. But we do require that you donate 25 plants to the plant sale. So
Okay.
that isn't a big ask, we don't think.
So you say you join and you have to donate 25 plants. What does
Right.
that look like for somebody like me who literally doesn't have any plants? So what would I do?
Well, you could be one of those gardeners. I'm going to give a plug for somebody who could go to Cyril's and buy 25 plants.
Ah,
And they often have their plants at an incredibly reasonable price. So it isn't like we're asking a lot. We just want to make it that people can come and do this. And so that would be one of the ways to doing it. But I know for me, when I started gardening, I kind of thought, should I landscape and garden my yard or should I go to the gym? And then I decided, well, why don't I do gardening? And it is so peaceful. And when we're sort of stressed out with all the stuff we can't do, and you go outside in your yard and you look at the bees and the butterflies and the birds and the flowers, I love flowers. So to do a gardening um, adventure for me, it's like a puzzle. You try to figure out, when does the plant bloom? What color do I want to do? What color would it look nice with that color? Is it tall? Is it short? Does it need sun? Does it need shade? Does it need water? Like, you can think of as many things as you want to make that puzzle go together to suit you. So you can keep it simple or really complicate it, just how your mind works.
yeah.
It's very peaceful. It's sort of a way to just get in touch with Mother Nature. It truly is a peaceful place to be out in your garden. It is, and it makes you realize how busy all these animals or butterflies and bees and bugs and whatever, how busy they all are. And you never really saw them before. One of the committees that we have is Environmental Educational Committee. And we decided a few years that we were going to support, years ago, I should say, we were going to support monarch butterflies. because they were having a hard time. So we actually gave away milkweed, which is what monarch butterflies eat, when you bought a plant at the plant sale the first year. And we encouraged then our members to grow milkweed so they could donate it to the plant sale. So we could encourage people to grow that and have monarch butterflies. And then we moved on to going out to schools. So when you're in elementary school, then I believe it's grade 3, you have a little section of studies that are about butterflies. So we were able to go into schools, have a presentation. One of our members has a fabulous amount of pictures about monarch butterflies, present that to the kids, give them a plant, give them instructions to take home to mom or dad so that they could teach them about monarch butterflies, and just to encourage kids to realize that that caterpillar isn't like it really is going to become something someday. It's going to become a butterfly. And it's been very rewarding to see these kids being proud of having sort of seen the cycle of life from with the monarch butterflies. You
Excellent.
might, I just, this is nothing to do with us, but there's groups of people in Selkirk that have monarch butterflies or have the caterpillar. They have the milkweed. You get the caterpillar. And so to ensure that every one of those caterpillars gets to grow up and be a butterfly, they take them into an enclosed area, either into a garage or a tent, or they have something that they are able to have the butterfly in this area so wasps, which are carnivorous, can't do it. Nothing can do anything to these caterpillars. They're safe. And they feed them. And then when they hatch, they set them free. It's amazing how many people are doing this. Well, I had somebody phone me that is now a member, but was we were hoping that she would join last year to say that she had a butterfly and she didn't know what to do with it because it was getting laid on, and butterflies can't fly if it's too cold. The only thing I could think of was that maybe she could take it to a greenhouse. Like I think it would be amazing to go into a, some of the greenhouses that are open year round, and you'd have butterflies flying around. I think that would be wonderful. It would really lift your heart up, and that would be great.
I know that it is a Selkirk and district horticulture, but it's not limited to just Selkirk residents. If someone wanted to take the drive to visit us, it wouldn't be a problem.
No, we're very open to everybody. We've got people from Cooks Creek and Beausejour and Tyndall and Winnipeg Beach, and anybody who wants to come is more than welcome. We're so lucky to have so many members that have more than one gardening adventure that they're in. The Beausejour Daylily Garden. The president's also a member. We've got many great members that are in our club that can guide us and inform us.
So you did mention it, and it is one of my questions about looking after the parks that are in Selkirk. And at the end of this interview, when I post it on YouTube, I actually am going to put, did some picture taking this summer and took pictures of the parks that you look after, such beautiful pictures. So they will follow this interview. But if you could just speak to the clubs that are the parks that the club looks after in Selkirk.
Sure, I'd love to. So we volunteer to look after Red Feather Farm, which is on Eveline. Sorry, I don't know the side street, but it's by the hydro lines there. We look after, we call it Main Street Garden, which is on Main Street, and it's sort of got all the signs there. And I think that's beautiful. The design of that park is lovely. And then we've just recently taken on last couple of years uh, Queens Park, which is by the old Selkirk Bridge. So that's taking us a few years to put that into shape, but it's certainly getting to look beautiful there also.
Mhm.
So our members go out as we sign up. We volunteer to go out and look after those gardens. And again, we can use them when you go and volunteer if you know nothing. It is a teaching garden for people to help each other. And we're hoping at Red Feather Farm we're going to be able to use that a little bit more when we get together in person as a teaching garden. We have had workshops there We have an arborist in our club, and so she's gone there and shown us how the proper way to prune trees and shrubs. And we'd like to do more of that when we are able to get back together.
So then the volunteer opportunities that are available just to go out if people want to learn, and let's say somebody was just interested, they could come to see you?
We are easy to get along with kind of people. Remember, we're caring and nurturing. That's us. Last year, we had a woman, two women actually, come and just volunteer. And they had such a good time that they joined this year. They want to be able to do and get involved in more things. And so, no, if you are know somebody that's coming out, we ask at our meetings for people to sign up and go out and volunteer because it's a lot of work and we don't want to put it all on one person. But we do have people that are in charge or heads of the, let's call it managers of those gardens. And so when they need workers or they need to do a project, they put the word out and people go. So if somebody wanted to come just because, then
Mhm.
they'd be put to work. That's not a problem. They would be
Excellent.
happily put to work. Let's call it that.
Excellent. So that's good to know. So people can come out and during the summertime and just volunteer for working in the gardens, which is great.
Right. It gives them good information. It, they get to meet the other members. So it's a two-way street. Like if you want to learn, you can. If you'd like to teach, you can. If you just want to hang out with some people, well, that like to garden, well, come on out. We're there. We're waiting for you.
That sort of just leads right into the next question is how do people get a hold of you or find out what you're offering or
That's the part we're not very good at. So if we need to improve, that would be the part. We're kind of been word of mouth kind of organization. We do have a Facebook page, but you need permission to go on. So we need to be more open. We know that we kind of have had that's something that we need to address.
because I'm sure that people are very interested to learn a little bit more about gardening and it's a great opportunity that there's public places in Selkirk, social distancing, of course, respected. So the plant sale,
Very much up in the air. It's very frustrating because it's sort of like here you got the plants and you want to get going, but you can't get going because you don't know what to do and you don't know what you should do. So we have to wait for the province to tell us what we can do. We have to wait for the city of Selkirk to tell us what they've let us do. We have to look at our members and that work at the plant sale because it's an all day event. This is a 12-hour marathon for the club, but we need to do what's safe for our members, and we definitely want to do what's safe for the people coming in. So right now, we don't know what we should do or what we'll even be able to do. I think Selkirk has turned into be a I can't see where the other plants go because if they're going to a rural property, but it's a very pretty city and it's all plants all over, beautiful gardens, and I feel that we had something to do with that.
yeah. Well, I'm like I said, the parks that you look after in the city are spectacular.
I just want to make a mention about gardening. So when you're a gardener, you need this plant and that plant. And then you go to a garden center or somebody's yard, and before you know it, you have to have that other plant, that other plant. No, I've never seen that one before. And so you go to buy two or three plants and you walk out with I don't know. I've walked out with so many plants I couldn't fit any more in my car, but I only needed two. So it's kind of contagious to become a gardener and see a plant. What's happening in the future for us? Well, right now we will continue to look after our gardens. We have a project going where at Red Feather Farm we would like to identify all the plants. So when people come there, they will know what the name of that plant is, so they can go home and grow one too. We are just waiting to see what else we can do right now. We would like to have a lot more outdoor workshops this year was our plan. But again, we're just kind of waiting for that to see if that happens. So we're kind of up in the air on most of our plans because it deals with the outdoor and how many people are we going to be able to have and what will be this proper distancing. And so we're kind of just stuck. I don't know if we're going to do any of these things, so this hasn't been on our agenda right yet, but we could maybe do some Zoom garden tour kind of idea. What we had done last year was in the winter, we had shown pictures of different members' gardens, and you're right, we have a lot of overachievers for sure. Their gardens are amazing. And so we've tried to, for our own members, we've tried to really reach out and keep just in touch and talk about different gardening things that are coming along.
If people wanted to join the club or whatever, do they just email you, or is there a membership email or?
There isn't really a membership email that I can give you right off, but they email me. We can hook them up with coming onto a Zoom call. And then we offer that you get to come to 2 meetings to see if you like it. And so we would offer that to any new member. You could come to a Zoom call or think, well, this is great, I love it. And then we would make arrangements for you to join. And that would that would be it. That's as simple as it gets.
Okay, excellent. One word to describe your club and its members.
I would say nurturing.
Yeah.
I would say that would fit us perfectly.
I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to share about any past things that you've maybe done that were kind of memorable, or if there was any things that some ideas that you have for possibilities in the future.
Well, my hope and dream for the club is that we would be able to have outdoor workshops that you would come and you'd actually see how people do it. It's one thing to have somebody describe something, but it really, for me, it really is more impactful if I could actually see them do it. So I think just for us to keep on being involved with the gardens that we look after, so we can not only showcase ourselves, because we all love to garden, but to teach and learn new things. I think it's all about learning and sharing is the things I would like to say that I would like to see us involved in. It's so hard right now to have a long-term goal when we're just trying to survive the stuff we normally always did and to sort of figure out this is such an opportunity actually to figure out how are new ways of doing this. Like we've had guest speakers come, but they always come in person. So maybe the new thing will be guest speakers will be on, I don't know what you would call it because it would be like a Zoom call, but we would be at the church and then we could have all kinds of different guest speakers that we have uh, that aren't maybe in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
We've been very lucky to get people that have come on book tours and they'll come and be a guest speaker for us. So we've had some really great guest speakers, but I just think right now we're just trying to think of new ways of doing the same old thing. That's where we're at and trying them out. And not everyone will be successful. But if you don't try, then how do you know, right?
Yeah.
So that's sort of where we're at right now.
Good.
We garden in zone 3. So you need to know what the weather conditions are. And it's really good to know what the soil condition is in your yard because you're not going to be able to have something grow successfully if it's not growing in the right soil. Like we've got in my yard, I've got very clayey soil. So I need to know what grows there. And of course, sun, shade, other trees. I think if you start at the bottom and just going online, learning about zone 3 gardening, like this is for that prairie gardener that I showed you, talks about our zone 3 gardening. Uh, we have different, I can't really, I don't have books that I can just tell you about, But that would be good to know is what zone you're in, what kind of soil conditions you have. And I think maybe you would get a lot of that information actually just coming to our meetings.
Hmm.
We had this year somebody, gentleman named Dave Hanson, did the whole hour on talking about soil
Mm.
and no-till gardening and bugs and worms and all this different stuff. Because without all those things, they're just mixing up the soil and how much tilling you should do. There's all different things that are coming out where before you would rototill your garden. But wheat seeds can last up to 10 years. So now you're bringing them up to the surface. Do you really want to do that? There's a lot of different, there's a lot of information that you can just sit around and read and then go outside and figure out what do I want to do rather than making a mistake that takes you a couple of years to fix.
Yeah.
That would be my suggestion.
Just a little bit more, I guess you said that you started 27 years ago, with just a handful of people that are still in the area that still garden. Um, Anything else you want to say about how the club has grown over the years?
I think I'm so respectful to those founding members. They had to bring their own coffee pot to the meeting. They had their first garage sale in somebody's yard. Or garden sale, I should say. They then moved to a parking lot. I mean, it's just been one step at a time as any club grows in finally reaching the spot that we're at. And they guided us all along the way. They came up with a wonderful constitution. I totally honor everything they do. Uh, they work now as mentors or advisors. One of those people have just come on our board to help us, and it's really nice, I think, to have your history book sitting right at the table with you. And that um, I just think that they have really guided this club along to make it the success it is today. So my
Ex-
hat is off to them.
Excellent. Great. Um, and is there anything that you want the audience to know about the club, its members, the area it serves, or anything that you do that we could leave everyone with one final thought?
I would think that I would actually, I never even thought of this until right now, is if you have extra plants, and we do have a plant sale, and you'd like to donate them to us, because we use that money to run our club, we use that money to pay for flowers and different things that go into some of those gardens. The city doesn't totally support that, we do. Also, we use the money to uh, get speakers to educate, and that's one of our things is to educate people, or to go out to educate with our monarch butterflies. Our new project we have for this year, because we couldn't do monarch butterflies go to the school, we couldn't be involved in that. But we're doing native plants and Aboriginal and native plants. And our first guest speaker will be tonight. And so we want to find out more about native plants and Aboriginal plants. There's a wonderful new garden on in Selkirk by the Métis Center, and that's a very nice thing. We've got different schools that are interested. Again, back to education. And so if somebody did have plants, rather than, I mean, of course, give them to your friends, but if you've got extra ones, then we would find a home for them, even if it was to donate them to some of the projects our master gardeners do. So they're looking after like the rectory, St. Andrew's Rectory. They've got a group that was looking after at Camp Arness, the little garden there. But all of this stuff has been kind of closed down or closed back, pushed back. But that might be an ask that I would have.
What a great idea.
They could get a hold of me. I'd
Yeah.
be happy to hook them up with the right people.
Terrific. Yeah, that would be excellent. Yeah, because I'm sure even, just people are still gardening in their gardens, so they might have extra plants that they can contribute the garden club, which would be fabulous. Well, thank you very much for your time. That is very much appreciated. And if anybody is interested in getting a hold of the club, they can either contact you at Chris Kabay, KRISKUBAY9 at gmail.com, or they're certainly quite welcome to come through me at Red River North, and I will forward you any queries that we get. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
thank you.
And thank you for having the interest in us and our garden club. We really appreciate it.
Terrific. Thank you. Take care, and hopefully we'll see you around the gardens this summer.
I hope so. Stay safe. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye now.